Ruth and me to receive this award. And we want to thank the Wheatbergs for coming up with this. And I think Gail this afternoon kind of explained what the family's interests were in encouraging people at opportunity. So we just wish we could meet them in person and give our thanks to them. We were told of this award before we came to the forum, and I think it was good because, as you know, the San Francisco Giants are back in the World Series, and there was a little bit of conflict on what event we should attend. So I'm glad we got the pre-warning. But when we met with Vicki and we were told that we were chosen for this award, I think the thing that, very frankly, Ruth and I looked at each other and said, you know, why us? Because we look out at the people who are here tonight and people we have known from opportunity, and I'll tell you, we have some real champions. We're still not quite sure of the criteria, but we're just very honored that we are recipients. I would like to share my thoughts, but I thought better in the sense of vision trips, people we've met at various opportunity functions and so forth. But the story has been told so well today that there's very little that I can add. But I would like to comment on something that I've had a lot of fun doing at certainly this forum and other forums. And that is to meet people and say, why did you get interested in opportunity? You know, what really motivated you? And I think the answer is, it always gets back to someone who knew you and wanted to get you involved on a personal invitation. And I want to give you just a brief background on my story. I think it was about the middle of the 1980s, I went on the John Perkins Board of Racial Reconciliation. And a very interesting board, and on that board was the Whitakers, Marion and Al. And I would go to the meetings, we'd have maybe 2 or 3 a year, and they would always come back with stories about what opportunity is doing in the world, and they knew my background in business and investment banking. They said, this is the type of thing you could really get involved in. And Ruth and I had had enough experience with nonprofits that we knew that you had to have some time if you really wanted to get involved with an organization. And I kept telling Al, I said, you know, Al, I just don't have the bandwidth to do something new and different. You know, the stories are great, but I just don't have the bandwidth. So unfortunately, every meeting, and particularly Marion, his wife, would come up and say, Roy, you really ought to pay attention to opportunity. This went on, unfortunately, for over 10 years. And finally, John Perkins, who was in Pasadena at that time, decided it was time for his family and interest to move back to Mississippi. So from the Bay Area to Pasadena, you know, kind of an hour on the plane. Mississippi, it's 7 or 8 hours. And I told John I had to resign. And this was in the mid to late 1990s. About a week or 2 later, I had this phone call from Al Whitaker. And Al said, you know, I have heard you've resigned from the John Perkins Board. Do you now have enough bandwidth for Opportunity International? And almost like Providence, I am sure it was not prearranged. About a week or 2 later, I heard from Michelle Ruby, who was representing Opportunity in the Bay Area, and she invited me to a breakfast, and I couldn't couldn't refuse to go to that meeting. So from this, I just want to give kind of 2 points for you to take home. And I know that there are some old-timers here from Opportunity who've been involved a number of years. We also have new people. So my first word of advice is, don't wait 10 years to get involved with Opportunity, because you'll miss just a lot of fun and interest in your life. And the second thing is that I think that call from Al was a real challenge. How could I, within my network and our friends, how could I influence them to have an interest in Opportunity? And so the take home for you is that, the phone call from Al to me, I'm giving you the same challenge. You've had this wonderful time here. How can you get involved in Opportunity and share this with your friends? At business, at church, at your club. And let's see if I reach in my pocket. We were told that these wonderful little key cards, just something simple like that, to use this to go to your friends and say, there's this wonderful organization, Opportunity International, you ought to get involved. So the word from Al is we should all be involved. So thank you very much for this honor.